Alright, so today's video, we are watching a gold 2 support on PS4 playing Mercy and Juno. They say, hey, honestly, I'm looking for some advice with my gameplay because I don't think it's all the best, especially in this game. I started as Mercy as she's my comfort pick, and I was just in the mood to play her, but if I'm being honest, she definitely wasn't working this game at all. I should have swapped earlier and maybe we could have contested the point, and I don't think she was much value this game. I eventually swapped to Juno, which this is a good timing on a Juno VOD because I'm currently doing the support play of the game series. Let me tell you, getting to play the game on Juno is something. We say, I think I helped my team turn it around because we managed to capture third point with, I'd say, barely any issues. I'm not sure if my healing was the best here, but this was one of those, the most amount of healing I got on Juno, which I'm kind of proud of. The most annoying thing was the flank and Reaper, which definitely held us back a bit, but our tank suggested pinging him whenever he teleported in and going as a team, and honestly, I'd say it helped us a lot by doing that. I'm overall just looking for some tips and advice on how to get better and wondering if I should start maybe playing Juno more. Okay, let's give it a look. See where your gameplay's at, maybe if you can swap sooner, things like that, and we'll take a look. I love the setup here. Everybody's just playing close right here at the wall. Okay, I mean, I already have like right away, and I'm just gonna start off from the beginning here because you want to find the most value with Mercy. This is not going to be finding that most value with Mercy. You're playing close right here at the front line here. See? You're playing right here, and you have a Hanzo back here. You should be up here with the Hanzo like this. The reason why you want to be like this is because now you're in a safe spot, right? You can't be shot from a Widow up there. You don't have any of those angles, and you're right here safely. You're damage boosting a Hanzo, which if your Hanzo hits a shot, you're gonna have a good time, and honestly, like even if they don't hit a ton of shots, but like can tank bust a little bit, you're gonna be in a great area. You have your Moira here, you have your Tracer. You should not be up here. This is just already with your positioning. This is not gonna be where you want to be. You want to be up here with a Hanzo. So I just wanted to give you that like right away, like looking at the value you're gonna be bringing. Like doing this is just not the setup spot you want to be in. Be with your Hanzo. You're gonna have a safe spot with the Hanzo. See, you're already trying to escape the Reaper. But top left, you have that Hanzo. Well, now it's bottom left. See what I mean? Then the Hanzo is forced to go off of a good position and because of that, and then now you're back to square one. So. All right. Damage boosting is good. So I am glad to see damage boosting. It's something that, remember, you're not always going to be able to keep like your tank topped off. And truthfully, I just want to point this out here. Sometimes it can be really, really difficult to like fully pocket a tank as Mercy when on top of that is the DPS passive. So just so people kind of understand the DPS passive nowadays, I think it's like 30% right now. Of course, on tanks, I want to say it's 15% because of like the tank reduction, but 15% reduced healing on any support can be rough. But with Mercy, you can definitely fall behind a little bit on the heals on the tank. Now, it's not just safe to not heal your tank, but it's also good to like at a certain point, realize that the damage boost elsewhere might help because your tank will eventually get grinded down. Of course, we'll see. I just want to like get people in the habit of that. Now, if you're looking how to know if somebody has a DPS passive on them, unfortunately, you still don't. I feel like he's not going to tell you, but if you want to know what it looks like, if you're the player, so you can understand a little bit of, hey, you need to kind of put yourself in a spot to make it easier to be healed by, let's say a Mercy or a hero with not as much of that burst heal. Look on the bottom left. You see that little like purple arrow? That means you have the DPS passive on you. How do you apply it? A DPS shoots you. That's it. The same reason why like Tracer, for example, can get really good value, right? By just constantly putting that there. A little bit of a note, like Ash Dynamite applies it. Like it will stay on the whole time the Ash Dynamite's ticking, Bob, etc. So point being is just, with Mercy, sometimes it can be tough to keep the tank fully alive during that. So it's okay to be like, okay, if I boost my Hanzo during this, is that going to be a better option of killing the Reaper running at my tank? Or should I just hold left click on the tank until they either get grinded down or something happens, right? So there is an option there. So I went a little bit deep there, but I think it's probably good to point that out sometimes. You said option 3 is just to shoot at the Reaper? Yeah, I mean, again, it's not that like, just to show you what happened. You did a good job of trying to keep your tank alive there, but at a certain point you couldn't do much. That's why it's, like, I think, like, I'm not going to give you an HP threshold to look for, but if they're all in your tank and there's a DPS passive on your tank, there's a pretty high chance that, like, if your team doesn't get the kills in time, you're going to basically just have to go back. And that's what happens. You did everything technically right from a healing aspect there. It's just, you know, maybe at times look for like a damage boost, you know, onto your Hanzo or even your Tracer. Heck, your Moira in that situation to alleviate some pressure. So. Yeah. And, you know, your team gets reset and you're kind of back there. And I don't know if I'm, like, overthinking it with this, but I think that if you start with your Hanzo at the beginning of this round, this is already a different start. Because it all started with your Hanzo up on the high ground. You didn't go to your Hanzo to heal him. Your Hanzo felt obligated to push down on the low ground to be with your team because they weren't getting healed or damage boosted. Then, by the time that they all took the high ground above, your Tracer was forced to take a 1v1, and then you lost all map control. Little things like that could go a long way. And again, that's not fully on you, but better positioning can lead to better results. Do not ult this. Just fall back. That was a big slam. Nothing you can do. So. Yeah, that's the best, honestly, best case scenario right there. Next time you're down and you're not going to escape out immediately back to your spawn, just die in cart. There's no reason to stagger yourself there. Don't be afraid to pop Valk here. Again, I want you to start damage boosting a little bit more. I really think that having a Hanzo here is really good to have. You can Valk. No, you can't. Nope. Unless you were going to touch point, but I don't think it's worth it yet. Good job on not Valking. When I said you could Valk, I'm like, this could be a good Valk. Counterpoint, the Mercy on their team Valk, so that's what it'll look like if you Valk right now. Nothing would have come of value of it there, so you're good. You can damage boost your Ramattra. That is the correct decision here. Don't be afraid to damage boost your... Okay, we're going to just, you know, it's an ult domino. We're all joining in. A little bit of a note. Once you kind of had the map control there, I don't think you need to pop your ultimate once Moira pops the ult. What you can do instead is rather than damage boost your Ramattra after they kind of like can't get past the Reinhardt, damage boost your Moira. So now your Moira will be healing everybody in front of you, right? You know, as you know, Moira ult also heals the team. So you can damage boost your Moira. This will help your Moira do more damage and also keep everybody else healed. So again, I think what you're doing right now is you're kind of in the mindset of you're kind of just going to like vibe and heal your tank and occasionally go for like a damage boost and stuff. But I want you to start to like look a little bit more into damage boost. Listen, if you're in a comp that's Mercy Lucio right here, I'm going, okay, I get it. You have to heal your tank, right? Like you know, there's going to be a world where your tank either needs to swap or play some Roadhog, right? Because you're not going to have the heals. When you have a Moira, believe it or not, Moira has very high healing. Now, of course, that's in a very AoE, kind of like everybody's group setting where you want to get those pure numbers. But Moira can take care of your tank for a while. And unless your Moira's in their backline flanking, which your Moira has not been in the backline flanking, you can put more damage boost out there, right? Like you can bring a lot more value with that damage boost than just kind of holding left click on your tank. Now, of course, this comes off the tail end of you just damage boosting your Hanzo, but then your reaction when your Moira ulted was to pop your ultimate and then damage boost, when in reality, all you needed the damage boost was your Moira, and then next team fight, you can pop your Valk. So, I know I'm giving you a lot of info here, but I'm getting feedback that people have been liking a little bit more info, so I'm just showing you a lot of the little things that can be improved on here. And let's continue on. As you can see, like, you didn't really end up getting any value with the Valk, right? So now you kind of just don't have it. So there you go. Nice pick. There you go. You're on the correct target. You could technically damage boost your cast if you want to, too. Like, you can't go wrong there. I'm just like, I think on a map with this much range right now, a Hanzo damage boost goes a long way. Goes a long way. So. Although, I don't know, and again, maybe in the YouTube comments people can bring it up, but do you have like this, okay, there's this terminology in football, NFL, where they call it like feet in the hot hand, like where you basically like, if a running back is having a good moment, like rather than going with what you think is the best option, you just say, hey, this running back is just dominating. I don't know if I have a feeling that like sometimes it's also a good idea to recognize on your team who is just like, you know, your Cassidy's been popping the last few times. While I would normally want to damage boost a Hanzo, maybe you're like, dude, our Cass isn't missing. This could be even better. So maybe, you know, damage boost your Cassidy and vice versa. Like look for someone who's kind of dominating in that sense and kind of roll with it. Because I think that can be super helpful here. So far, what I've seen is your Cassidy is doing a pretty good job of hitting some shots, right? Like, it's been going pretty well. And I think it'd be okay if you just swap to the Cassidy for now until, you know, you go back to your Hanzo. But, yeah. Well, I agree that Ramattra should not be number one on the damage boost. But, like, during the ultimate and during the, like, spam at a choke and, like, you're not with your DPS, of course. Why would you damage boost instead of the Cassidy and kind of use the damage boost Hanzo since he already has one-shots? That is a very good point, but I am a tank player, and I know exactly how it feels to play against a damage-boosted Hanzo. Maybe the advice here should be maybe pay attention to storm arrows from your Hanzo. It's a little bit tougher to do, but like maybe if you see your Storm Arrow from your Hanzo used, you then kind of add like an internal timer of like, okay, I'm going to damage boost the Storm Arrows, which helps with the tank. And then you can go to the Cassidy, which helps with that burst too. So there is a good point in being like, hey, like, yeah, if you damage boost the Hanzo, at the same time, a damage boosted body shot is going to be way higher than a non-damage boosted body shot, right? So it's all theory in that sense, but it's something I wanted to kind of point out of you have 2 good damage options here. So maybe a good option would be find the, like right now, Cassidy. Be a little gold. There you go. Big slam. If there's any way to see that Rhine coming, oh. Chat, I will always say, do your best to save your Mercy. Okay? Because I don't think anybody's saving this Mercy. Let's take a look. Oh, man. I feel like even with that username, if you were doing that right now, they still wouldn't peek the side. Here we go. I like how Ryan gets the credit. Ryan's probably like, what in the world? So far, like I said, it's been like, it's been like, okay. And I think like there's impact there that can be, ooh, you flew in. I want you to be careful of the just start going in and flying at the team situation you just did there. You got away with it, but that can get you killed real quick. Okay, good job getting away. Now we want to go to the Cassidy for damage boost. I think the Cassidy is who you want to damage boost right now. They're off Hanzo. Damage boost the Moira now. Let's go ahead and damage boost that Moira. Okay, that's fine. I mean, you don't have to. But then you feel obligated to pop this, and then here we are. Good job by your Moira to go backline. Yeah, I mean, like, I still think you should have just went with your Moira. I think you would have won that team fight pretty cleanly. At the same time, you won the team fight, so, and there were 2 people on your team low HP, so it did work out. Wow. Huge purple. I like the sound that's just like, do not heal, everybody's purple. Big slam, yeah. What happened to their Mercy? How did Mercy fall off the map? I just want to see now. I'm just curious. Oh boy, wow. That Mercy didn't even float right there. That Mercy just said, I'll see you later. I've had enough. That Mercy didn't even try to stop the momentum. That was a slingshot. I didn't know the gloves were so shiny when you wave hello. I just saw that. Okay, that's cool. Don't need a speed ring out of spawn doors. It's just a waste of cooldown there at that point. I know you're just waiting on your Ramattra, so give him some time. So Juno's actually good here. You can speed ring engage, which is really nice. So you want to use your speed ring more for engages or disengages. Nothing really in between that. So like for example, a good way to use speed ring, chat, right? Right about here. So if they're gonna stay right here, you would probably speed ring here to give your teammates the opportunity to cut them off and take away angles. Now, if they were playing here, see right here, you would want to speed ring the choke here to get your teammates across here. This applies for Lucio also. I think sometimes people always like go, hey, when do I speed boost as Lucio? You want to use it as a way to either engage into a team, either A, like kind of how I mentioned the speed ring here, or B, to get past a choke. That's when you're going to want to use it. Now, of course, it's going to be, there's more to it. You're going to use it for yourself. You're going to use it in different situations, but if you just want like a very cookie cutter way of doing it, that's how you want to use your speed ring here. So if you use your speed ring anywhere in between, kind of just as a cooldown, the only other way that I would want to see you use it right now as you're learning and getting better at the hero is for yourself. A little bit of a note, when you use speed ring, it activates automatically on Juno. So you can use it as a disengage tool. Anyway, see what your play is here. You're going for the right clicks there, but keep in mind they weren't really in line of sight, but thankfully the Torb was like, you know what? Let's do that. That speed ring is fine because your Ramattra can benefit from it. I'm going to let you know when your speed rings are fine or I feel like they're a little bit not used again. Like I said, those gloves are cool. But good start. Okay. Yep. This is Juno. Sure is. I'm not even mad about using the torpedoes there because you don't even get into the choke yet. You'll have it in time. Behind you. Behind you. There's someone behind you. There's someone directly behind you right now. I just want to point out. I don't know who. I think you're good again, but Who was it that? There it is. It was the Moira. I was like, who was behind you? And it was the Moira. The Moira just went all the way around and took forever to get there. That was amazing. You know, this would be a great example of using a speed ring. Let me show you why. You have your teammate kind of stuck in the middle of the open here. I call it being stuck in the mud. You're basically, they're in a really weird spot. If you speed ring, it gives them two options. They can be aggressive and try to get a trade, or they can fall back. This would be a great opportunity to pop that speed ring to be able to help your Ramattra. No matter which way you go or your Ramattra goes, it will benefit them. Now, then at that point, you got to keep your Ramattra alive, but this is a good opportunity of a disengage. So, let's see what you do. See if you speed ring your teammates out, you run away. Let's get a speed ring going up there so your teammates can benefit from, like, you know, being aggressive on the rest of those kills. Do you see how, like, right there, you didn't, your first default was just to kind of back up? So instead, you basically, I feel like you just play very safe. And I think that like, eventually you're going to hit a wall doing that, only because, like, you need to find more ways to make plays. Great use of your ult there. I love the reaction. Good job. There you go. Yep. Oh, and there you go. So you use, like, there, speed ring, the one that you just used. You don't, I just want to show you, like, you don't have to use it here. In fact, I would rather you use it up here so that way you can pick up these kills, right? Maybe you'll have it in time, right? But, like, I want you to see the value of the speed ring. Like, it looks great. I mean, you know, it's like, wow, that's nice, right? That's cool. But, like, you're kind of just here now. Now you don't have the speed ring. You can engage on one of those free kills in front of you, right? So just things to keep in mind. Again, there's going to be moments where, like, it doesn't really matter either way. Like, your teammates get the kills. But I want you to think about those moments because it always doesn't go that way. Nice pick there from the Hanzo. And, yeah. It's okay to... I think it's okay to shoot the block there because the Doom doesn't have it. You're good anyway. You're fine. Okay. To your left. That speed ring is fine. Good speed ring because you can disengage back. I don't know how the sound is, but that's the second time you've blatantly heard somebody just stomping next to you. So there's something to keep an eye, like, you know, something to, like, listen for at that point because that Reaper was there, like, clearly. So be careful, just reset. You don't need to run at them. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. Give it a second. Everybody, wait for everybody to come back. Don't even peek yet. Your Ramattra will be here soon, or whatever tank they're on now. Give it a second. Is your tank lagged out? Okay, that was either the longest respawn ever, or they were AFK. I'm gonna go with AFK. Okay, I mean, that speed ring can work for your teammates. I'm okay with that one. Okay. I wonder who's behind you. So you kind of talked about, like, hey, you know, one of the annoying things was the flanking Reaper. Listen, if this Reaper was going around the map playing extremely slow and, like, you know, methodical and finding the right moment, I'd be like, okay, that can be rough. This Reaper, I think, has the skin that stomps around. Because I've been hearing this Reaper stomping on the flanks on you. So you gotta find a way to pay a little bit more, like, I guess, attention to that. But I also want to point out to you, this last minute of gameplay from you is you've been standing in the same spot and backing up immediately. So let's talk about this very quickly. I think sometimes people get funneled to one part of the map, and that's that. You were here for, like, a minute straight doing nothing. Nothing was happening. You've been flanked by the Reaper twice in the same spot, right? The Reaper goes here, stomps around, and flanks. So rather than sit here for a minute, use your speed ring, rotate around, take a different approach. Boom. Look where you're at. Now you have cover. Now you have line of sight. Now you can't get flanked by the Reaper in the exact same spot, and then you can move up with your teammates as you go. But if you keep getting on the habit of your gameplay loop being this, you ready? Because I've seen you do this pretty much the whole game. What am I doing, chat? I'm just walking backwards. I've seen you do this whole time. I want you to start thinking of how can you get aggressive, and if you want to play safe, use those angles. Look at this. You can literally be at this angle right here. Heal your teammates. The Reaper would be all the way over here. and then you can go back and forth, right? Just something you need to kind of like pay attention to. Like, I want you to try to think about, get yourself out of the habit of being in the stuck in the mud, not doing much, just standing there. I do that sometimes also, by the way. I will do that sometimes, and I'll mention it. I'll be like, okay, I need to like pay attention to this more. I need to like stop standing here, and like it will go a long way. What are the best perks for Juno? That's a good question. I think it's playstyle. Like for example, I think for this player's playstyle, the torpedo one that heals, this fits the playstyle regardless of what's better. Like this, if I'm correct, one of them is like you get your cooldown back when you hit more targets, and one of them is you target your teammates with heals quicker. With the playstyle of this Juno, I would take that perk every day of the week, regardless of what the stronger one is, because the playstyle says that. Now, you could change the playstyle. You went with a machine gun perk. This one's fine. Again, a little bit of a note, okay? I want to point this out. So I started to experiment with both of the perks with the third perk, and this is my take. If you're playing a bit more aggressively, I really like the machine gun one when you can kind of like use it to like follow up on a kill with your torpedoes. But I do want to point out to you that you mentioned that you're getting flanked by a Reaper. I think that the triple jump one that you have is extremely underrated, right? Extremely underrated, because I think a lot of people are going to opt for the machine gun one. But someone mentioned that in the chat yesterday when I was going for the play of the games, and I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try. And let me tell you, the amount of times I was just running circles around people with that triple jump was like, I didn't even think I could do that. It's because like all the players kind of expect the Juno to kind of drop down after that initial jump, and you just do it again. I had Rhine shattering walls. It was great. So the point I'm making here is don't be afraid to try that if you're getting flanked by a Reaper or a Doomfist is engaging on your team. It can go a long way. And I think it probably is underrated because the machine gun one is just fun, but something to think about when you're playing. Yep. And yeah, think about third point here. The triple jump gets you, in better spots, and you can avoid some of the damage there. I would speed ring in a like right now. Speed ring with an ultimate. Yeah. This is your timing. Go forward. No. Go forward. Don't look back. This is what I mean. I think a lot of people are afraid to be aggressive here, but like, if you have a Reaper in your backline, the worst thing you can do is chase this Reaper because you're just delaying some time. Now you have an isolated Hanzo on the point. If you just lead in with a speed ring and Juno ultimate, you just win this point. You will not lose. The only way you would lose this point is if your teammates get distracted, which right now is happening. Again, your team might still win this, but do you see the problem? Just be ready to go in, right? Go in with the ultimate, with your team, and just take this team fight. You'll pretty much win it unless this Ana hits the sickest Ana grenade ever, which right now the Ana's just vibing. So we'll see. We'll see what your decision here. But you're just backing up. Now you lose your Reaper. Now your team is worried about that. Now you're out. Now you out. You've given them time to get cooldowns back. Again, I think you're going to win the team fight, mainly because the Doomfist just jumped off the point. But, like, you see how you ended up doing that play, but, like, it was, like, 5 seconds later? I wanted you to do that right away. Good job doing it, but you see why, like, let's get you in the mindset of having a little bit of a quicker response to something, because I think that would have been really, really nice. If you had managed to get that play off at the correct time, I think that would have been really fun. Okay. I think it's this gold, if I recall correctly. All right. So far, you just, this is fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. Okay, you ready? Needs to be a speed ring right now. I want to show you why. Look who your Ramatra is. This is something to pay attention for. Your Ramatra's in the middle of the open, okay? The reason why you would speed ring this is to help your Ramatra either A, get really fast pressure on the Sigma, who's already at half HP and about to throw a rock, see? Or B, your Ramatra can then rotate back here if need be. But this is a good opportunity for the speed ring, and then you also benefit from that, so you can kind of, move around with that whatever way you see fit. Find out what happens. You get rocked. Your Ramatra's now chasing the Sigma, and the Sigma goes down. Keep in mind, look where the Ramatra was. Had to chase them for a while. That's why I do like the idea of using that speed ring there. All right? You see a Reaper in front of you? You can speed ring that if you wanted to. Okay. Pay attention again to the same moment here. Your Ramatra's over there. Yes, you heard the Reaper to the left. The Reaper's to the left. You did hear that correctly, but I wouldn't worry about it. Okay, there's the Reaper. Okay. I can't tell if something's off with the sound, but, like, where the Reaper at is clear as day to me. Like, that Reaper was obviously in that one spot, so I just wanted to point that out. Like, Maybe it's just, yeah, I don't know. All right, here we go. I don't know if that soldier just lagged out or what, but speed ring, speed ring, speed ring, speed ring, speed ring. There you go. Don't need to look at the ground, really, to do the speed ring there. You can just do, I mean, you can, but, like, you don't have to do it right in front of you if you just want to use it for yourself, is what I mean. Like, you can heavily launch it towards your mantra. Good job staying alive. Yeah. Like, again, I think sometimes you're not really thinking about where to go. You're just kind of going somewhere. Like, think about this. You have a safety net of back here to disengage to. Right? Your whole team is here, and then you disengage to here. You don't go down here if you just disengage correctly. Like, even if your speed ring's like this, you don't need to go this way. Just go back this way and regroup and play back in for a play. You have plenty of time, right? All you need to do is survive the Bob. I mean, I'm not saying your teammates will, but hey, look at you have a free kill on a Reaper. You have like an opportunity here to just win the whole team fight, and you engage into the point. You don't need to do that. Just play it safe. Reaper goes down. Now it's a 4v4. Unfortunately, your mortar goes down. If you're there, maybe this is a whole different story. I mean, it could go in their favor, but like, you see what I'm saying? I felt like you just properly disengaged that. Always think about the safety of like where you're gonna go to. Like, okay, where am I gonna disengage to? What way is the better option? If you start thinking that way, you'll be in a good spot. So, yep. All right. I'm ready. Let's see what you do. All right. Get up there with speed ring. Speed ring now. Speed ring, 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 speed ring. I want you to speed ring this because it'll help your teammates. Okay. Yeah. So, real talk. You just have a very safe play style. You don't want to use your abilities as much. You only use them for like very, very rare cases. I really think you need to start recognizing how key utility is. Again, this even goes back to your Mercy from earlier. Remember how like you weren't damage boosting some of the correct targets? Like you have the idea of, okay, I need to damage boost, but like you weren't thinking about what that utility brings. So I really think, believe it or not, you have good moments, but I also think you need to really work on your utility usage because that speed ring is so important. And this isn't like Lucio. When you go Lucio and you speed boost, I get it. You're a little bit afraid of, giving up heals for a speed boost or like, but you're on Juno. You can use your speed ring and keep healing. It's not a huge issue once that animation goes out. So like, I want you to get in the habit of using speed ring. And I actually one thing I want you to work on the next time you play Juno, I want you to use that speed ring even more. And again, you might use it too much, but I want you to see like some good use cases of it where I'm telling you right now, teammates benefit so much from speed boost. And as you climb, the usage of speed boost goes up tremendously. So it's something that if you get used to it now, you're going to be in a great spot. But that speed ring needs to happen way more than it is. And if you want a simple way to think about it, use it for aggression for your teammates that are in front of you. Use it for your way to disengage. Just use it as a change of pace. Just use it in different ways, and then eventually you can you can bring it back. But I want to get you in the habit. I want to get you in the habit of being more aggressive with that utility. Also, you argument there, should you speed ring out of the door? I don't think so. I think you should use it for the choke. Because I think like you're missing barely any time out of the spawn there, and now you have to wait. My Discords or any submissions go for anything. That's where to do it. Alright. You watch these heals. Okay. So what do we notice here? Do you notice the problem? Remember how I said you're playing too safe? What do you notice? Let me ask you this question. This Reaper's been annoying, right? How can your teammates even help you if you're playing like this? You're so afraid of like being aggressive at times and making a play that you end up doing this the majority of the time. Look where your team's at. Look where the core's at. You know what would be really cool right now? A speed ring. You don't have the speed ring because you used it earlier, right? Like twice. So the point being is your teammates would greatly benefit from being able to get through here. If you were just with your team, you won't have to use it to end up here. You could be with your core, and then everybody benefits from that. So, yep. But keep in mind, if they don't use the double jump, the triple jump perk wouldn't be useful to them. Yeah, I mean, that was just a general... sometimes I just give up general discussions about stuff, not talking about specifically here. That's why, if I recall correctly, too, I was talking about their play style. I think they definitely would benefit more from, like, you know, the safer play on that one. Yeah. But I think it's still good to bring up people playing Juno that is a very underrated perk. So thankfully your teammates, but like, you see what I mean? Like, you know, I don't even think you realize what's happening here. Everybody in your team goes back to help you, and then they go in and kill your team. Do you see the problem here? Instead of getting the space creation to take away all of like this space, your teammates feel obligated to go back to help you. And instead of you being as a core and then just being in front of them here and getting free kills on, like, let's say this Reaper, this out of position Moira, your team goes down. So again, this safe playstyle is it's almost kind of giving the other team way more opportunity in team fights I feel like you should win. So here we go. Let's do this. Okay, good heals, good survivability. Don't be afraid to use your speed ring here. You know, if you feel like your teammates need any opportunity, just use it. Okay, your plane is safe. They really can't tap points, so I don't know why that Doom is ulting. Okay, a little bit of a tip. Remember, know where the card is in overtime. Do not just solo ult into the team as Doomfist like this. Even if this works, this is not a high percentage play. This goes back to whenever I had on the bingo cards about how in overtime it just is a different game. There was an overtime. The Doomfist felt obligated to go to the point for some reason, even though the cart's right here and you have plenty of time between the animation opening the door. This is just a tip for anybody. If you're on the opposite team here, don't do this. That's the freest kill you're gonna get. Did noted you don't play Doom. It's okay. It could be on any hero. I've seen Moiras go in there with their ultimate. Good job disengaging to a safe spot. I want to point that out. You did a good job there. I just want to... Another thing here. I want you to try to survive here. I think, like, the numbers advantage you're going to have as a team will go greatly. Just keeping yourself alive there could be huge. Like, I feel like you already should have won this, but your team has started to kind of rush to the point. You have time. Pop your ult. I mean, you're going to... This was happening to me yesterday when I would pop Juno ultimate, like just dying in it. Like, you're like, I'm gonna be fine. Gets 2-shot. Okay, speed ring. Heal your teammate. Heal your teammate. Okay. I think your team should win this now. Unless this Reaper hits the ultimate, which they could. Be careful. Think about this. Okay. It's before this game ends, and congratulations on the win here. Like, I want you to think about that. If that Reaper turns around and ults you, that could be a game changer. Again, you know, low % chance, but... the one thing I want to give advice to everybody here, do you see what this Juno did the last part of overtime? You notice how that playstyle was so different? I just want to point something out. When you get to overtime, it does not mean run to the cart when you have time. There was 20 seconds on the clock, you had plenty of time, and your team was just blasting in there. Your team didn't care. Off of spawn, you were in. It's okay to wait a second. You had a numbers advantage, right? This should not have been as close as it was. So there's a lot I think you have to work on that side of, like, just recognizing the situation and then making a play off of it. Remember, a tip for everybody. In overtime, you do not have to run to the cart one by one, okay? Now, of course, that's different if you need to get to the cart, to touch the cart. That is different. That's one by one. But if you're in an overtime spawn, you don't need to just, like, stack 5 on cart. You don't need to just run at them in a straight line. You don't need to... run back from spawn and be on from defense and, you know, 1v5 on cart. You wouldn't do that normally. It doesn't change in overtime. The only thing that changes in overtime is longer spawns, which means your decision-making actually needs to be cleaned up a little bit. But yeah, your play style is a little bit too safe right now. I want you to start to use that speed ring more aggressively. I want you to start to be a little bit more proactive in your play. Remember, think about your damage boost targets. Don't just do it to do it. Don't just stand behind your tank like you're playing Cassidy. And use your mobility more, both on Mercy and Juno. I think if there's a lot here, but I think if you can take even some of this, you're going to see a good amount of progress. You got this. You absolutely got this. You like the video? Hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube, leave a comment. All of that helps. If you want to submit something, my Discord's where to do it. And yeah, want to watch another one of these spectators? They've been awesome. Click the video right here. You'll see it. That being said, hope you have an amazing day /night.